I mean, who'd come up with that? You know, if somebody said to me, I'll tell you what, I've got an ace idea. I'm going to get this cheese. I'm going to fling it down this immoderately steep hill, right? This fucking hill is biblically steep. I mean, it's not good, you know what I mean? If you were in I've done some stupid shit now. I once went, right? We had a place near where I live. It's called the Green Desert. And when I was young, me and about 5 of my mates decided that when it snowed really hard, this would be a really good place to come sledging. Tobogganing, whatever the fuck you call it, where you guys are. But we couldn't find a sledge big enough. So we basically came up with a concept of getting a car bonnet. So basically, covers the car engine. What do you call that in the States? Like the hood. Yeah?
The hood. Yeah.
Yep. So imagine we had a car over here back then, like 80s. It was called the Ford Cortina. And the Ford Cortina was like a massive, just flat bonnet with slight turn-ups at the side. We basically attached straw baling twine onto this motherfucker. And we get like 6 of us on this. And we set off down the Green Desert. And it was probably like, I don't know, 40 yards into this route. And the Green Desert's like, I don't know, maybe 400, 500 yard hill. Bloody long, very, very steep. And there's a stream halfway down it. The thing comes down, and then it starts to bank over to the left, and then there's like a stream, and then it goes up a bit, and then down again, another meadow. It's like basically 2 meadows. Like there's an old knackered wall in the middle of it. And when we got about 40 yards into this, the friggin' car bonnet must have been doing like 25, 30 miles an hour. And when you were low to the ground, that feels fast. On snow. Right? So we were like, we started off and it was like the Christmas postcard. We're all, yeah, we're on a sledge. And then at about 50 yards, it's like, everyone scream. Everybody's like, oh shit, how do you get off this? And I realised, like an absolute penis, I'm sat basically at the front in the middle. So I've got a dude either side.
Can't get out.
And a dude and 2 dudes at that side. I thought, I'm going to die. I'm full on dead if I don't get off this. So everybody's looking at ways of bailing, and I'm the first guy to bail. And I literally stood up like I'm surfing. And I started to lose my balance and I was going to go badly. So I just literally just flung myself in the air and came down. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it hurt like, it winded me really bad. I basically landed on one side of my ass cheek and it knocked the air right out of me. It's like, oh, bounced off down the friggin' hill, hurt my arm really bad, hurt my neck a bit. Oh my God, and everybody, the last man on there, Mark Saunders, last guy on there. And it gets down to nearly where the stream is and Mark's just about got the balls to jump off, and you heard this fucking car bonnet hit the bottom of the stream and like clang, you heard it hit the stones in the bottom of and it's cartwheeling down, and we all were like, oh we thought Mark was dead. Running down there, and all Mark's just, we get down and Mark's like, oh, mate, are you alright? And Mark's just covered in snow and he just goes, leave me a minute. Just leave me a minute.
And ladies and gentlemen, he had some beef jerky, and he was good.
He would have been fine had it not been for the fact that he just had his Western Survivor jerky.
There it is.
The next time you're going to go down a massive hill in a car bonnet, Western Survivor. That is real though. That ain't a joke. No.
That was real.
Yeah, he was there. Leave me a minute. We left him a minute. It was all right.
He just needed a minute. All those broken bones healed up with a minute.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not that bad. He was limping for a while after it and stuff. And he's good to go. But just any kiddies watching the fix, never go down a massive hill on a car bomb.
Yeah.
We should probably start the show, lads. Now, in fact, let's kick it off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Fix. And it's a milestone. It is a milestone. I'm going to check in with my technical director, Rollie Royce.
40.
This is 40. That's like as old as Ryan Bowen. How old are you, Ryan?
No, mate, I'm 35.
Yeah, he's younger than me.
We went past.
That's more like me.
And I'll just read one of our comments.
Should you? Really?
Bollocks, Ryan.
And this is Ryan, you don't look 35, dude. Come on. Really, how old are you?
Mate, I don't know. No, legit. 1985, mate. April 1985. So, I look pretty. I think it's this camera. It's just how clear it is. It hasn't got the filter. You're used to seeing me the filter.
Filter on. That's what it is.
The filter.
Instant filter goes on there. Different world. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are, if this is your first visit to The Fix, unfortunate, you shouldn't have found us, but there it is.
We're sorry.
I apologise for that. Now, I want to just throw this over to the other two lads here because is it just me or did
Rollie look a bit quiet on episode 39?
Yeah.
Now,
Hey,
no one's all it to do. I think
I win the haircut. That's all. I'm cool with
Saw
that. Yeah.
You did.
I saw that comment. Yeah.
Good one. It's like, yeah, baby.
Yeah. That's right.
But we've got to get a show in because Rollie, you're not going to be around next week unless we can do a show from Dubai.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, Rollie Royce, the voice, is going out to train with Larry Wheels and Khaled. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about.
Are you going to bench press while you're out there? You've got to bench press.
Yeah, maybe. Of course, this gym, I'm going to be in the gym basically every day, but I want to experience Dubai as well. But yeah. I'm taking all my training equipment with me. And
So, Ray, what is your bench right now? Like, what if you were pushing a little bit in the gym, what are you benching right now?
I believe, like, with all the pause, with my ass cheeks leaving the bench a little bit, maybe 210 kilos. I feel I can do that, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's like really, really strong.
Yep.
What do you bench, Paul?
I don't do flat completely. I don't go anything other than a board press because of my shoulders.
Okay.
So I'm in the mid fours. Awful board.
Yeah, my range has always been appalling since I bust my shoulder and my elbow.
Yeah.
When I have the elbow up, I have my range is good. You might even hear it. I'll try and do it now. Just tell me if you can hear this. Oh, hang on. Oh, there you go. Did you hear that?
Nope.
Heard something.
Yeah, that's
This?
What? See if you can see it. What?
Oh. Hang on. I can wiggle my ears.
Yeah.
Now that's when they rebuilt my joint. They put the ligaments, like knotted them. It's not mine. It's cadaver ligaments. And they put it round the outside of the bone. So that jumping, it's going over the bone. And it's a really weird feeling when you bench press. When I go really low, if I I can go to about 2 inches off my chest. If I go any lower, it clicks over the bone. It scares the shit out of me every time.
That's exactly where I am. I got about 2 inches. 2 inches to come down. Yeah. I'm okay on incline. I'm alright on incline.
See, I'm the other way.
Can't flat.
Flat bothers me badly. When I have to go flat, when it clicks over the bone, it scares the crap out of me every time. So you don't bench.
For me, the last time I bench pressed was
1999.
2008. And my best ever bench was 130 kilos at the time. So I don't even know. I haven't picked up a bench in forever, but I would not get more than that. I would be happy if I could bench 100 right now.
210 kilos, mate. If you smack that out when Larry Wheels and some of those big boys are in that gym, they're going to be like, who the is this baby face dude with the nice hair?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, have I not seen him in a forest with his shoes off?
So you looked really deep.
When I need to mock that picture up, I need to be getting myself in the local woods. When it's sit down with rain and I'm my side tits hanging out. Fire into them woods and
Yeah.
women be walking past going, keep it in the circus, son. I thought that was an awesome photo shoot. How did that come about, Ray? We've never talked about this. What happened? How did that photo shoot?
I was young, I needed money.
My name was Mike Concho.
I don't really remember. Yeah. I think with those pictures in a wood, I was about 67 kilos.
Really?
Yeah, I was very, very lean.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine, like, I'm really short.
7 kilos, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was your percentage body fat at that time, dude? I'm like 80.
I don't know.
I think I'm 89.99% body. I'm like just a bit above the composition of butter.
Butter with bones. That's terrible.
What's your body type, Bowen?
Guys, I feel like we started and we're quite quiet, so it's good. Little job. I have to try and collect myself and remember these. Can I just say, thanks for sending me the jokes, guys. I am getting at some of these jokes I can't tell. This one's a little bit risky. Some of them are really good, but there are things that I can't say on this show, right? Okay. But keep them coming because I'm loving the jokes.
Hey, don't get us cancelled. Don't get us cancelled.
I don't want to. No. Seriously, you trust me. I'm in contact with some dudes who are really right on the. They know about not doing silly things. Me and Devon last night we'll leave it. So I'm gonna start with this little joke. And there's a guy. He's a businessman, okay. And he's going away for a few days. And his wife's an absolute beauty. Real stunner. And he's a jealous guy and he's a little bit concerned about his missus. Potentially like while he's away, because he's going away for like a month. Packs his Western Survivor. Packs his bag and then he thinks, you know what? Before I leave tomorrow, I'm going to nip out and I'm going to buy my missus something just to make sure that it keeps her entertained while I'm away. I don't want to bring in any other dudes around or anything like that. So he's off and he's down to the local shop. Deals in that kind of things, Ray. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Right, definitely does.
Season ticket holder, Paul.
I'm too young to get in those.
They don't let you in.
They don't let me in.
Yes.
They kicked him out.
Excuse me, son, have you come to do your paper round? It's next door.
He gets in the shop and he's looking round and there's a lot of stuff and he's like, oh Jesus, is that? Trying to find out which way it goes. Anyway, he goes up to the counter. This guy says, you alright mate, something special you're looking for? And he says, yeah, going away on a couple of days break with business, might be away a few weeks in fact, I never know with these things and I'm a bit worried about my missus, want to keep her entertained. He says, and I've looked round, just, what would you recommend? And he said, well, he starts walking him through what they've got on the shelves and so on. And then he says, and if you're really worried and you want to make sure she can't get any more, then there's always no, actually forget about that. And this guy says, well, you can't do that, mate. You were just going to tell me. So what were you going to tell me? And he says, well, there is the voodoo dildo. And he says, the voodoo dildo? He said, oh, forget it. It's a crap idea. Just forget it. Well, you have all these other shows. And he said, no. Tell me about the voodoo dildo. And he says, oh, God, well, I'll show you. So he gets out this dusty-ass old wooden box, right? And he opens the wooden box. And inside it, it's just basically looks like just a piece of wood that's shaped remotely like a dog. And he says, "Is that it?" And he says, "Yeah, that's it." That's it. Yeah. And he says, "Well, don't take this the wrong way, mate, but that pretty much to me looks like all these other dildos that you got out here, except that one's made of wood, and you know, it looks a bit crap, really." And he said, "Yeah, well, it's a special bit of kit. This, watch this." And he says, "See that wooden door over there?" The guy says, "Yeah." He says,
Voodoo dildo. Keyhole.
Voodoo dildo jumps up out of the box, fires across into the door. It's giving it the door. It's creaking, bending, cracking. And then he goes,
Voodoo dildo. Box.
Voodoo dildo straight back in the box. Now, it's really important you remember those commands. He said, with the voodoo dildo, all you got to do is say voodoo dildo, instruct it where you want it to go to work, and just leave it to the voodoo dildo. He said, but you must know, only way to stop that voodoo dildo is either retask it or tell it to get back in the box. Yep, no problem, mate, I've got it. You know what, I'm going to take that. That looks amazing. He thinks, my God, that'll tire her out. Gets his voodoo dildo, goes home. That night, he gets it out of the box. He says, right, love, because he knew her, I bought you this. Walks her through the voodoo dildo. I'm glad I wasn't pissed when I came on the show. I'm struggling to say voodoo dildo now. If I'd had a few beers, I'd never get that out. It's like, so, he sets off on his bit. He says to her, yeah, voodoo dildo. He says, all you're going to do is, tomorrow, day after, whenever you're feeling a bit lonely, get your box out, open it up, just say, voodoo dildo, tell it where to go, and the voodoo dildo will do its thing. She thinks, right, okay. Off he goes. Anyway, 4 or 5 days he's been away, and his missus is getting a bit frisky, feeling a bit horny, and she thinks, oh, God, gets out of the box. And she looks at this thing, she thinks, geez, surely this can't work. And then she goes, oh, bugger it, let's try. So she gets on the bed, gets her clothes off, and she goes,
Voodoo dildo?
Okay. Out comes the voodoo dildo, boom, and he's off to work. Absolutely can't believe it, this woman. She's like, oh my God. Old guys are Anyway, she's had enough. She's like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's it. Is it? She can't stop it. He's forgot to tell her how to get bloody voodoo dildo. She's like, she's there for ages and the voodoo dildo's still going. She's like, oh God, I've got to stop it. How do I friggin' stop this thing? Can't do it. She thinks, Jesus, I'm going to have to go to hospital. I'm going to have to get them to remove this. It's ridiculous. He's hammering her constantly. Stop. So she gets in the car and she's like, oh my God. It's a long skirt on. Jesus, she's trying to drive into hospital and voodoo dildo's still doing his thing. She's driving a bit erratically, Paul. It's difficult. So, policeman pulls her over. Okay? And she's winding window down. She's going, oh my God, she's on brink and another. Winds the window down. And this policeman says,
hello, madam. Are you aware that you're exceeding the speed limit and also driving very erratically?
what? Officer, oh God, officer, you don't understand. And she proceeds to tell him all about the voodoo dildo. Anyway, copper looks at her and he goes,
voodoo dildo my ass.
Hey, this was worth the wait. Yep,
that was a good one.
Okay, so before like this show is about arm wrestling and dildos. From if you're listening to us for the first time, but like there's no better comedy than.
I don't know how long that joke was, Ray, but that might have set a record, dude. Long time.
Yeah. So like every half centimeter my hair grows out, I look 2 years younger. So this is a real story. 3 real life stories. So how young I look in real life. So first one, First one is it's my brother's birthday. I'm going to a game shop like GameStop, and I want to buy him a new UFC game.
Okay. So like computer games.
Yeah. For Xbox, and so I get in there. I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, is this the new UFC? They're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna take it. The guy looks at me, and he's like, can I see some ID? I'm like, for what? I'm like, for what? He's like, violence games we cannot sell to minors under 16 years old. This was last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That's number one. Number two, I get in a store. It's like, I get out from the gym, so across the street there's a store. I get in a store. I'm buying a Red Bull, a can of Red Bull. So I have just my card, just my MasterCard. I get on, put it, and they're like, can I see some ID? Because they don't sell energy drinks under 18 years old. I'm like, I don't have. I said, I just have a card. And they didn't sell it to me.
Wow.
So you can get a MasterCard?
5 years. I go there for 5 years. So next one. So there's some,
how you get a MasterCard if you're not 18?
Exactly.
Like, am I missing something? Like, this is the ID.
Yep. So there's pipe bursting. I have two toilets. So in one, the pipe burst. The neighbors come over. They're like, there's water coming down from me, and they're like, okay. So I call the manager of the building. He gives me the plumber. Is the plumber? Yeah, plumber number. Yep. He's like, okay, I'm gonna be there. He says me what to do, and he's gonna fix it next day. So it's about 8 a.m. Someone calls my door. I open up. He takes a look at me, and he's like, is your parents home? And I'm like, get the fuck.
Mate, I have no idea.
Yeah.
How old are you, right?
This is not even counting the times when, like when I go to speak somewhere, and if I have one of my guys, and like Vlad has a beard, everyone has a beard, and I'm looking like 16, sweet 16, and they're like, everyone's going away. They're like looking for someone who's in charge, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And you're 30 years old, aren't you, mate? 29, 30?
Yeah. Like, my grandfather has good genetics. I believe I got them because he didn't look different from 30 up to 65. Like, didn't change at all. So.
Right, Ray.
Good story.
We've only got one sponsor, Western Survivor, right?
Any new sponsors want to come in? Maybe Dove for men, face cream, or oil of olive.
Some shampoo.
You're like a walking advert for like male face creams.
Younger than ever.
Somebody like me, I have a similar tribulation, mate, but it's like the other way. So the day my kid comes home, right, and he's like, Dad, I said, how's your day at school, son? He says,
it's awesome, Dad.
I said, I'm glad to hear. I said, what do you do? I said, we did bit of history, bit of maths,
bit of RE.
I said, RE?
Religious education, Dad.
I'm like, okay. How'd that go? He said, well, we were learning about the Last Supper. I said, all right, the Last Supper. He said, yeah, Jesus, who sat down with the apostles. I said, oh, yeah, I've heard about the Last Supper. My kid's like,
were you there?
So, listen, think yourself lucky, son. You'll still be able to, you'll be that guy when you're like 50, and you'll still be pulling 25-year-old girls. That's what that is. Now, Ryan.
All the
happened.
Yeah,
guys.
Arm wrestling, guys.
We're 25 minutes in and we haven't even spoken about arm wrestling yet, and I have got things to ask you about because, in fact, we're going to keep this party neutral. Paul Linn.
Okay.
Did you see the post about the battleground?
I did. So I think the first thing that I think we need to make clear to everybody, and first off, maybe talk about, I just had it up on my phone. the 8 people that are in it. But I think you need to make clear, because I think what I didn't understand is I was assuming, since it was super match format, it was going to be 8 guys, which translates to however many rounds. But each round was super match format, best of 3. I had no idea that this was 6 guaranteed. This is going to be a bloodbath.
six minimum. 6 minimum.
Is there also B-side? Like, if you lose, is there like top 8, like you go B-side?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Ultimate loser, ultimate winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it.
Format, okay?
I'm looking at the picture, and now that I know that, I'm saying, thank God my face is not on that picture.
So these aren't confirmed athletes as yet, and we've already heard of one possible change. Although, I don't know, it may be those 8, it may be a slight change, but guys who have already contacted me to show their pretty much confirmation and interest. And this is going to be very much with the blessing of the World Arm Wrestling League. Obviously, you know that I work within World Arm Wrestling League and Arm Wars. We had an agreement with Steve that wouldn't affect it. Now, the timings may be the only issue, and what I mean by that is if the World Arm Wrestling League, for example, had an event in September and let's say Ryan was on the card there, or another athlete who happens to have made it to the roster was on that card, and we would respect that 100%, and we'd put somebody else in the match. Okay, but the idea of this is that the Arnold Classic Europe UK next October, 1st to the 3rd, NEC Birmingham, England. I want to create the biggest battleground scrap that this place has seen in a very, very long time. So, Paul, do you want to tell us who the athletes are on there?
I'm pulling it up right now. Off the top of my head, we got both of the gentlemen on this screen right now, correct?
Yeah.
And we got Kevin Robertson, Dallas Langston from the United States, Nicholas Nonestad and Frode Haugland. And the other 2 gentlemen I am not super familiar with.
Tobias Trolls.
Yeah.
And the other guy is a guy who's based in the UK called Stoica Bogdan.
Stoica Bogdan, yep.
And Stoica is a Romanian puller. Bad mother fluffer. Let me tell you now, I love this dude. And Stoica is like... He's another guy who I would love to get into the World Arm Wrestling League. And
I looked him up when you mentioned him a couple weeks back.
When you watch Stoica on the table, he's just smooth as anywhere you want. You know what I mean? Anywhere you want to go, he will go, and he'll go there hard. You know what I mean? He commits. He's not like a dancer. He's not running around you. He's like, what? You know, he's on. Trains with savages down at Slough Slammers. Trains with people like Tom Holland. So he's an absolute grinder.
He's in the UK though, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But he's from somewhere else. Okay.
Romanian puller. Mega. Top level lad. Battler. Love to see him in there. So anyway, winding the clock forward, I have a conversation with, and we're going to, fasten up your chin straps, mother fluffers, because this is about to get bumpy. We're covering some topics right now. Here we go. First of all, I have conversations with Herman Stevens II, who was coming to me. In fact, that's going to be out on the channel in a couple of days, guys.
Check. I can't wait for that one.
You know, this is show 40 of the fix. Dateline check. That'll already have been released. If you haven't seen it, get yourself over, check that out on the Deep Inside series with Herman Stevens II. Really torn up and badly injured.
Like that time that he pulled Ryan Bowen on the breakfast table.
Yep.
Yeah, he's torn up and badly injured, yet he absolutely slaughtered everybody at Mississippi State, won the super heavies, and he's badly injured. He may be. I questioned him on it after. I said, how bad are you injured? Because we text back and forth a lot. We got a group and everything. And he was like, I have no reason to lie. I said, well, I'm not really calling you a liar. I'm just wondering where like the level of injury is, because you didn't look injured to me at all. It looked super impressive.
He really enjoyed his day at the Mississippi State, right? So he says to me, and it was, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was along the lines of, mate, I went into this event and I didn't know how much I needed it. I didn't know how much I needed arm wrestling. And talk about distractions. Herman Stevens III, his little boy, actually showed up on the call. Beautiful little kid. He comes on his knee and says hello during the show. He's distracted, obviously, with his son. He's also...
his house.
Well,
yeah.
Bear in mind, you've got a wife and a young son, and your house...
has been destroyed.
I'm talking no roof. He's got a tarpaulin covering the bloody roof. He ended up, his wife, his son, and himself were living in Greg Gray's garden in like a trailer or something. Mm-hmm. Terrible situation. They experienced, I can't remember the name of the hurricane, but it was effectively the worst hurricane in 100 years or so. Right. And it's just decimated this area. And Herman's properties were involved with that and have been wrecked. So he's in a situation where his job is on stand down because it destroyed the factory. His house is utterly decimated. So talk about distracted. If he can do it, I'll be amazed. But we're talking about October 2021. And he showed genuine interest in getting over there and getting involved in that. And I would
love that.
Because, Ryan?
Herman has been on the long time wish list for me. I love and respect Herman. I think he's one of the most versatile. If he was in that group of 8, I think he is a real genuine threat to win it because of his versatility.
Yep.
He has the ability to be offensive in any position. I put myself as very similar to Herman, except I'm more defensive in every position. He's more offensive in every position. So, look, if I could, as much as it'd probably make the rest of my day even harder, I would love Herman fresh, 6 rounds, that first round, because it's just
in that class.
Yes, I would, and for the reason that I always want to grow. And I've thought for a long time that I could beat Herman, and I just want to know. I just want to flat out know. And the versatility that he has, I think I can match. And I think it would be I think the 6 rounds, there wouldn't be one round that looked the same. And it'd be crazy fascinating. But it's probably sealing the fate of both of us for getting through to the final. Whoever wins, I don't think would get through clean.
So first man out of the blocks with a response, right? Like, we're talking immediately. And that's why I love this mother fluffer. It's Kevin Robertson. Yeah. And it was probably like, I don't know, but it was probably either stupid early morning or something for Kevin there. And Kevin's like, I put the post out and Kevin's like, boom! He's like on it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Straight away. Kevin wants
He's hungry.
He's
super hungry.
Then word gets around to Brandon Alcesar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me talk about Brandon for a second. Firstly, how can you not love that mother? I mean, you gotta love Brandon. Brandon is hungry to the point of explosion. You know what I mean? He wants to arm wrestle so bad. And he's got that almost Michael Todd-like desire for recognition. And the man is a savage. The other day, what will he weigh? Like now, walk around weight, like 95 kilo or something, 209?
No, he's a lot like, he is very much built like RBJ. Like he does not have a lower half at all. He will look like he's 235. When I pulled him years back, he tried to get as big as he possibly could, and I think he got to like 220. That was like the biggest, like his ceiling.
So possibly if he's at his biggest, he'd be the biggest in the class, but he's very much run of the mill in terms of size. On the other side of that spectrum, you got Ray Rolly Royce in this class, who is probably coming in maybe with the possible exception of Nanastad. Would you be the lightest, Ray?
Yeah, I think so. I would have no desire getting bigger than 90 kilos. You know.
So you're going to weigh, and I'm assuming that the weight cap here would be like 205. Okay. So you
Herman Stevens can't make that weight. He cannot.
He tells me he can.
He can, but I mean, I think he's like 240 right now.
No.
I know he can. He'll star himself.
So it's whether he'd lose a lot in that respect. we know that you'd walk in there with a cheeseburger in your hand, wouldn't you, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Nicholas Nanastad, no problem. He can put on weight and make that. So going back to what I was saying, you got Robertson in. Brandon Elsesser, why am I not in? Like straight away. And target Kevin Robertson's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like starts talking about Kevin and, you know, alluding to the fact that Kevin's been inactive, you know.
Fuck the pandemic.
Yeah. That's what he said. Brandon's active. We can tell you that. He's every local tournament that you can find around here, and he's pulling every single class.
So Brandon's on it, you know. Yep. He walks in. Next thing is the
Mosier crew. Hanging out the woodwork and on my ass. Oh God. Oh, Daniel, call off the Mosier crew. Daniel's motherfucker. I can just see. And Daniel's Daniel Mosier's like a lovely dude. I really like Dan. He's a good dude. If you ever meet Dan, came up with awesome. Got on with a guy like a house on fire. Great blokes.
Yeah.
And bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
But for the record,
Mosier crew.
I know he's really good. I get it.
I don't know how you do what you do, Neil, honestly. Like everybody needs to pause and put themselves in Neil's shoes and just imagine the DMs. Cause we all get a ton of DMs about a plethora of stuff. But I can only speculate because I know the people that come to complain to me to tell you something.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And they're all making the same point. Daniel Mosier went to the Slotty Tour and he took second place. Who the hell else did that? Mm-hmm. Daniel Mosier did this and he beat super heavyweights in the blink of a blinky eye. I know he does. Yeah. Maybe put together a class that's full of people. You don't necessarily want a dude in there whose combined arm wrestling time in 2020 when he's pulled every week is about 9 seconds. And that's in slow motion, motherfuckers. I don't necessarily want him in there. You'll also find that Arsene Liliev isn't in there either because he did similar things. It's not just about bringing dudes who can smash everybody in a heartbeat. Right. That's it. I know that there is a time for Daniel Mosier. And Daniel Mosier will get his shot. But just to take on the Daniel Mosier point, okay? Daniel is iron dick. He's mega strong. I get it. He's lethal. But the second point that is continually raised about Daniel is that he should immediately get a shot at RVJ because he's won a state tournament or he's not yet featured on the roster. So my point was, okay, when Anderson Silva came into the UFC, did he immediately fight for the title? No. He fought Chris Lieben. He cracked Chris Lieben, and then he starts to build that. And then the same thing would happen with Dan. Yep. You'd put in a match that makes sense.
Maybe somebody like Ryan Bowen, who's got a winning record on him.
Because you ain't lost you haven't lost yet in the World Arm Wrestling League in your single outing. You have got a winning record against Dan. Dan's carrying all that ton of momentum in the arm wrestling world, so he should be itching and chomping at the bit for you know what else? Pull Ryan Bowen, and I will crack Ryan Bowen like a bum, and then everybody will know that I should be the guy. And suddenly then from inside, and the fans of the sport that aren't ingrained will think, oh, I've seen this dude pull, he's iron. But you see it differently. You think you could take Daniel. So.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting match. Because I think,
yeah, of course.
I know Daniel changed some stuff. He said he's training differently and obviously he's on a tear. But I think Ryan, the version of Ryan now is different too. And I think he might have learned something on the last outing. I don't think that that's cut and dry like people might think. I do actually think that, like, when you look at, like, stylistically, Daniel Mosier creates problems for a lot of people. Way up. What
about against Justin Bishop? What about against Plamen Dimitrov? Because anybody out there who thinks that Daniel would beat Plamen Dimitrov like a bum.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Lamon Dimitrov, pretty friggin' serious.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Well, one of Dan's aces is that he feels very unnatural the first time you pull him. His strength, his shape, his vector, and the speed in which he executes on it is very awkward. And so you get caught out. You get caught out early, and you lose a few rounds. And if it's a tournament, you're in the B draw. But over a super match, guys that do their research that are quite intuitive, they've got a much better chance of identifying a stop. And I mean, we saw that at Zloty. Dan beat the guy in the A draw, but then lost twice in the final because he felt what Dan does, and he changed it. And Dan's one of those flat-handed pullers. He doesn't want to get turned either way. So, yeah.
So Ray, 8 men.
Yep.
You know the 8, and everybody's talking about you as one of the quiet underdogs, and probably not one of the favourites. So let me ask you this. You can pick your draw right now. Who do you... Yeah. And I'm not talking about your draw. I'm talking about the draw in that 8 men, right? And you can hypothesize as to whether Herman Stevens... Firstly, answer me this question, Ray. If Herman Stevens came into that 8... This is going to go around the 3 of you. If Herman Stevens comes into the 8, who should go out of the 8?
I believe
who should be removed. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a lot of, give me a second. So
Who's the biggest argument for removal from that 8?
I believe we need to balance it out. So, okay, we have Bogdan, Frode, Langston. So we have 5 pressers, basically 5 insiders, you know. Ryan is well-rounded, but mostly...
Just for the purposes of this, who are your 5? Off the top of your head.
Pressers, Stoika, Frode, Langston, Tobias, and me.
Yeah, see, I've only got you, Frode, and Langston, really, as pressers. Because Stoika, I think, is going top roll all day in that event.
Depends on who he pulls, I believe.
For it, you know.
Depends on who.
Yeah, I get. He ain't gonna. But let's say it's Stoika pulls Frode.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he will try to top roll him, but yeah, I don't know. I like this lineup. I really like the lineup. You know, with what's the other American name? I'm not really familiar.
Kevin Robertson.
So with Robertson, I'm not really familiar with.
Okay, imagine a slightly shorter Nicholas Nanastad, more heavy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long levered, bigger upper body. He's got a solid hand, and he can drop into a deep hook.
Yeah, he can hook as well.
Yeah, and it's very hard to prevent because of his lever.
I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone, but I believe coming Herman Stevens, if you take one of the pressers out, or those who can go inside, that would be more. So
literally coin toss.
Right.
Yeah, literally coin toss.
I love Dallas Langston, but if he's not starting in the strap, I think he's most vulnerable.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know I pray so much that Dallas is fixing that problem because he's a weapon.
Right.
He's just got to. I actually think that he could be. Look, I've pulled Dallas, and when I was up 2-1 in a super match against him, and every round had been in the straps. I remember thinking, dude, I am not going to lose this next round in the straps, and I expected him to not want the straps in the last one and try something different. And to me, his hand actually felt like it was decent. But he doesn't back it, and I feel like that's only a short term problem. I think he will wake it up, but if he is in that current shape at the moment, he'll be really vulnerable without the strap. So
here we go. Yeah. You're the man on the spot, right?
Yeah, but
and then we're going to go to Paul and get his draw.
I'm happy to face with anyone. I'm happy.
Yeah, don't go with that politically correct nonsense on it.
Yeah, but. It's not like now you're putting me on a spot to choose who I want to arm wrestle.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make it easy for you. Okay.
I'll make it easy for you, right? Just because of the fact that we want to have as much banter as physically possible on this show.
Okay.
And I'm sure Paul, as Deputy Technical Director for this episode, would back me on this, right? I figure that however it goes down, this is another winner. This is like Go Hate Me, right?
Yeah.
Another winner. So, and I'm talking to Paul.
Paul, I reckon Ryan should start at one side of the draw, and Ray should start the absolute opposite end of the draw, on the off chance that one of them gets bummed in the first round, right? Then you've got the biggest gap between them in terms of potential finishing, and we can take the piss maybe forever.
or we end up in the ultimate losers final against each other.
Well, if you both the first round, then that would happen. That would put you in the, you know what I mean? But if one guy gets like third, one guy gets eighth, then it's like, well, I got, you know what I'm saying? I got third.
Where are you?
I feel like, I want to say that I feel like this is built for me. I know that Froder's got good cause to say that as well, because he can pull all day. I know Herman, if he's included, has reason to be a favourite as well, because he's so versatile, and he could probably win matches quicker than most if he needs to.
Yep.
But I feel like this match is built for me because I would come in with a firm strategy of win my first round outside, win my second round inside, and then win my last round with side pressure, or in any particular order, depending on the style of guy I'm facing. And
there's no secrecy in that, Ryan, because that's...
Yeah. No, there's no secrecy in that. I love that people know. I want my opponents to know that I'm versatile. I want them to be terrified of shit, which way is he going to go. It helps. I genuinely feel I have even threat across the park on all positions now.
But the funny thing is, though, this is a progressive tournament. So although you will be pulling multiple rounds, multiple matches regardless, win or lose, you have to win match one. So,
yes.
2 questions, because Ray's too pussy to tell me.
Yeah, I'll give you an answer.
Okay. So, first question, right? Yeah. First round, who do you want? And who do you want Ray to have in the first round to maximum screw his life?
Easy.
And then Ray, same question about Ryan.
The problem, I'll just give a touch of context first. I did mention I'd love to pull Herman. That was for pride. It's not for winning the tournament. Yeah. I'd like to pull Herman in the final if I'm going to win the tournament.
Yeah, you don't want Herman first.
but trust me, I do want Herman. But anyway, for me, I would like Nicholas Nanestad first, for myself, for the reason that I think that if I got him to the position that I would look to get him to, it would be a low effort arm situation. This is with the assumption that I get the hand position that I need. The reason I'm confident I could get the hand position I need is I train very regularly with Jordan Davis, who causes me nightmares. And because of the amount of nightmares I have to deal with, I feel like I'm so well prepared to set up and to execute the starts on Nicholas to put it where I want it to be. And I think that if I get that secured, I think it's a fairly easy pin for me there. So that would be my opening round. And if I want to make Ray lose, I'd probably give him Herman. I'd probably put Herman on his ass straight away with that.
Yeah.
And he'd pop Ray outside of his shoulder, and I think it'd be nasty.
Okay, other way of looking at it, Rollie Royce.
Okay, give me a second. I'll take a look at this.
Who does Ryan get first? And now that we've passed the BC garbage, who do you get? What's your route to victory in this tournament? How do you win this tournament? Who do you match against who to maximise your chances of winning? Because as we all know from Travis Pageant, every single tournament I do is manufactured in a way to make one of my favourites win, Devon Larratt, Michael Todd.
Okay, I would take Langston for me. Because, if the guy doesn't know how to get out, and I'm not afraid from inside. Not at all. Yeah, I'm not saying that would be easy, but yeah.
I think you match up better with Kevin. I think if you use that downward shoulder roll. I
don't know him that much.
I know him. I would say honestly, and I love Kevin, but I think that your style poses more of a problem to Kevin than it does to Dallas. but I'm also laboring under the belief that, you know, if I'm with Ryan 100%, and I love Dallas, I'm on a group chat with rankings for him, but his inability to slip, and I even said it after Mississippi State, is incredibly disappointing. Especially when he went specific. He flew Chance Shaw out to him to teach him how to slip, and then he's still going underneath. So honestly, he's one of the most powerful people in that group, and you may never get to see it. He may lose 12 straight matches outside the strap. That's like a possibility, you know. My other thing is I think that Herman Stevens is possibly that ringer to the level of Daniel Mosier, where his ability to win fast could throw the whole thing off. And when I looked at it originally, I mean, and then when you guys said 6 rounds, I was like, holy crap, I would have no idea how to handicap that. But when you put Herman in the mix, I think he becomes the favorite. And I got to plug my guy. Ryan plugs Lackland and the Reacher all the time. I got to plug my guy, CJ Twine, one of my training partners. I think he enters this and is a big time X factor, not as a necessarily like, a favorite to win it, but versatility and speed makes him a big time X factor. I'd like to see him enter this over somebody.
Now, Ryan.
Yeah.
Who is your route how is your route to victory carved out here? Who do you face round 1? Who do you face round 2? And who goes with who?
Yeah, okay. So, all right. So for me, I get through Nicholas Nanastad round 1. I would love to then face, I think the easiest next option for me would be Dallas Langston. I know how to deal with him. So
who would have
Dallas? So I mean, if given that we've got Ray on the other side, it's not going to happen. So Dallas is maybe if Froda's a man that I really worry about. That if I get him in round 1 or 2, I mean, even if I win, I don't think I'll have the juice to win the final.
Yeah.
I just can't see, even if I beat Froda. So. And then Stoica's another guy that I would actually like. I would take Stoica second round. If I could say, if you had to say to me, do you want Froda or Stoica? I'd say give me Stoica. And even though he's versatile, he's strong. To me,
who's he pulling round 1, Ryan? Who's he pull? This is where it gets. This is tricky. Evan Burgoyne came on here and he said, in order to make head nor tail of this thing, I need to know the draw. Well, I'm telling you, this is what you face.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, Paul, you go match that thing, best match, and this is the criteria, right?
I need to look at this.
Okay, I'm looking for every single arm wrestler in that. First of all, Ryan starts at one side of the draw. ROLLIE Royce starts at the other side of the draw. Farther away as they can get.
Okay.
And I want to match every single man in that class with their worst fucking nightmare straight out of the gate.
Their worst.
So you wanted to make it hard, okay.
Round 1.
We put them opposite and we want to knock them out.
Yeah. And what I'm doing is making sure, to the best of your ability, that in every round, every arm wrestler has the worst, most horrific, nightmarish possible experience that they can possibly have that day and the hardest So you win this, you know you've won a tournament, let me tell you now. So who do you face against who right across the piece?
I put Ryan and Frode against each other for that exact reason.
But think about it. You've got to make sure that nobody else has an easy run. Nobody has an easy run. Not just these two guys.
Ooh.
It's the 8. So everybody in that 8 is working as hard as they can.
Wow.
That makes your life difficult, don't it?
I'm looking at it right here and it's giving me a headache. I'm looking at it on my phone like,
Okay, I got...
That's genuinely the criteria that the...
All right, I got one.
Because you have to predict the progression.
Predict the progression and predict the next round matchup.
So here we go. I got it for you. All right, I got Ray and Dallas as a match, and I think Ray goes through with the outer straps control. I've got Stoiker and Herman pulling next as well, and I think that's going to put a lot of work. Just the strength of Stoiker is going to make Herman actually take some shine off what he's got. He's not going to get away so quickly, but I will give Herman the edge.
I'm writing everything down.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
yeah,
I've got Kevin v Nicholas, the two long arm guys. They're so used to facing shorter arm guys that it's going to be a bit of a spanner in the works for the two long arm guys to face each other. So Kevin and Nicholas are going to work that out. They'll probably end up in a hook because Kevin can probably force the hook because he's got a long arm as well. So Kevin v Nicholas, I'm going to put Kevin through on that, and then I've got me v Frode, with me going through. So the winners, we got Ray would take on then Herman, and I would take on Kevin, and then it's me and Ray in the final. No, sorry, it's me and Herman in the final.
How have you got it, Paul?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. To make it, like I said, I'd lead off with Ryan and Frode, Ray and Nanastad on the other side, and I would put Dallas with Stoica because of styles, and she says Stoica is predominantly a press, but he can top roll.
See, I don't agree with that. No. I don't agree with that at all.
You think he's going to go outside?
I think Stoica, if you say, okay, this is a top roll only tournament, Stoica's like, no problem, and he goes top roll all the way through it.
Cool.
If you go, it's a hook only tournament, does the same shit, or press, whatever you want to do, he can do it, and he can do it really well.
I put him with Kevin then. So basically, if you're looking at the 8 men in the picture, you could go top to bottom the matches, except you would switch Ray with Ryan. If you look at the picture, you go top to bottom initial matches. Switch Ray and Ryan's head on the picture.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Now you're saying who wins?
Don't give me that, Ray. Okay, who you got?
I don't care. Give it. You told me it's gonna happen in August. I have 9 more months.
October.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much a year. You're like, you're 11 months away.
Yeah.
And you know the 8. And do we publish the draw now, or do we publish the draw later?
So now I'm just trying to ponder who wins out of those first rounds.
Well, here's the other angle, you see. Ray was begging for a match with Frode Hogeland and was sure he was going to crack Frode.
Oh, right.
So do you put Frode and Ray together in round 1?
So, Tobias contacted me. He wants to have a match with me, as well as Tarasites wants to have a match with either Yanis or Vlad somewhere next year when we're open. So that might happen. And then on August 21st, Norway is trying to make that tournament happen again. So I'm going to be facing Frode then, if it happens.
Now then, motherfuckers. Okay. Now then. In this same tournament, the very same tournament, we will be having the 4 Nations Challenge. Okay, this will happen on the second day. 4 countries or continents involved. Each continent has 3 representatives, a lightweight, a middleweight, and a heavyweight. Who will be specifically selected? Get this. They will be, we're going to go pretty broad, so it'll be 75 kilos, 95 kilos, and over. Here's the twist. The final selection and invitations for team representation of the 4 will be selected utilising the single criteria that those men match really well across the four in each of the four. So we'll put thought into, if you've got four lightweights from these four areas, who are the four guys that you could bring over who will maximum smash each other to bits? Same with the middleweights, same with the heavyweights. The closest possible, most horrible, horrific, nasty-ass matchups ever. And they will progress in a baby battleground in the same format that we're talking about now. So the first round, they'll get their worst nightmare. The second round, they get their worst nightmare from who is left. Are you with me?
Yeah, but we need at least one, I think. We need at least one as a benchmark. And then
that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
And now, then we can figure out,
Let's say this is the benchmark from the United States of America. It's Dan Mosier. And the benchmark from Europe's Vlad the Destroyer.
Ooh.
So Mosier and Vlad were matched up straight off the bat, 6 rounds. Who wins that one?
Vlad. I think Vlad will work it out. I think Mosier. Mosier takes the first 2 at least, and then Vlad works it out.
Okay.
Vlad. Mosier.
So let's say from Australia.
That's a great match, though.
In the States.
Didn't Dan beat him?
Australia at that weight, if I can resurrect Danny Tesh, he's the man.
Yeah.
At that weight.
Oh, whoa.
This is the kind of thing that would resurrect Danny Tesh.
He's 75 kilos now. He's like...
over. We're going to have a different thing. It's called the Omnipotence Super Match. And we will put Danny against maybe God.
Don't put him against him. Don't put him against Dan. That's the worst possible match for him.
Think about somebody for that.
What's the and fourth would be UK?
No, not necessarily. No. It might be Oceania, North America. Maybe there's Canadians in there as well. It might be Eastern Europe and Western Europe. What about this? What about, and we're going to round this up in a minute to leave you food for thought, mother fluffers. Put your comments down below. Let us know what you think, because this thing is starting to grow. It's moving. It's evolving. It's working. It's building itself. And we are going to put this together between now and when this thing goes live. But let me tell you now. Engin, the Enigma of Rage, wants to pull a 90-kilo arm wrestle.
Huge.
Him and Danny Tesh.
I would be so honored. Like, I would have zero expectations, and I would be super honored.
So that's one option. The other option, which another couple of people sent over to me, was this: Vlad the Destroyer versus Engin, or Daniel Mosier versus Engin.
I would love with Danny. I would love with Danny, and I think Vlad and Mosier, yeah.
I vote Paul.
Well, what about if Engin is one of the dudes in the 4? So you've got Mosier, Engin, Vlad the Destroyer, a 90-kilo Engin as well, and some other mother fluffer comes in that 4. So you've got got 4.
Danny Tesh.
No, wrong look. Danny Tesh. You've got to keep it at this level. I don't want to screw up Engin, Daniel, and Vlad. They're young men. Everybody knows Engin's very young, and we don't want to damage his confidence. We'll keep him away from Tesh. What about find another we're in there. Listen, not
the most meanest and baddest dog.
I'll wrap up the show and let you guys think about it. Put your comments below.
Okay, let's do that.
All I want you guys to focus on is this. Come to the UK, Birmingham, October 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a massive thank you to my resident Mr. Paul Linn, Brian Blue Bowen, and
Raimonds, ROLLIE, Liepins.
Wow.
This is your first visit to Supernatural Strength, ladies and gents. Please like, share, subscribe, let everybody know about it. And until we see you next time here, take it easy, peeps.